Hello everyone, welcome to another beginner's yoga class. If you are completely unfamiliar with yoga, this is the first time you have come across any of these videos, then take a little look at the videos below. There'll be a great starting point and you can come back here and continue on this journey. If you, however, have been with me so far from the beginning, then hopefully you're starting to find that the flow is connecting, you're finding your foundations, you're finding your feet, and it's all starting to make a little bit more sense. Today's class is going to be about using folding over the body. Still working with everything as we do before, with continuing with our breath, continuing with our strong foundations, working from the ground up. Always think about that as from any pose you're doing, I'm working from the ground up, and you'll find that once you layer, the positioning of the feet, the hips, the shoulders, the neck, the head, things don't become as overwhelming. So take your time if you need to take your time, pause the video if you need to pause, go back if you need to go back. We have the luxury of time on our hands and that we are practicing in the comfort of our own homes. So that is an amazing addition. One thing that I just wanted to quickly tell you guys about is I've been reading this book, and it's a book that I've read for years and I always come back to, and I actually just opened it on a page the other day, and I thought, okay, that actually really describes when you're starting out yoga, and in fact how you continue your mindset when you start out yoga. And it says, only through skill does balance come. Yoga opposes this condition with practices aimed at quieting the mind, the body and the spirit. On the mat, we have a microcosm of our lives. Bombarded with sensation, we can become overwhelmed and reactive, or we can begin to acquire skill in the art of life. Where do I begin? I suppose we could start with the words firm and relaxed, steady and sweet, effortless and focused, and see what happens. So those are a few things I want you to keep in your mind for today's practice. Effortless and focused, that's definitely the goal for today. So take the body that you have with you for today's practice. Do not think about having to do all the poses perfect. I always encourage you to work with the body that you have, with the level that you're at. Things come with time, and if we try to force things before they're ready, we can only just further halt the practice and step ourselves a step back, and we don't want to do that. So I'm actually going to start with my feet tucked under me, resting my seat onto my heels, but you can take whatever kind of seat that is useful for you, and I'm just going to rest my hands onto my legs. So let's start with drawing our attention into one of the great components that allows us to bring a union between our body and our mind, and that is our breath. So let's take a big breath in through the nose and a big breath out through the mouth. Big breath in through the nose and a big breath out through the mouth. Notice how the breathing moves easy. We don't have the pressure of it having to be elongated or restricted. We're just witnessing our breath and allowing it to be. If you have already gone over the Ujjayi breath video that I have posted down below, then you can start to welcome in your Ujjayi breath. So you can close the mouth and start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Try to find that nice sweet sound at the back of the throat. Or that Darth Vader voice that some people like to think of it as. And maybe for today you're going to set yourself an intention. Maybe that is just to work on bringing your Ujjayi breath into your practice now. Maybe it is to simply take things one pose at a time. Whatever it is, trying to keep that as a small, gentle reminder throughout the rest of this practice. Remembering that our asanas, our poses, are just one component of our yoga practice. There's many more layers to what brings everything together. We're adding in our pranayama, our breathing now. We're adding in our focus. Now slowly taking your last round of breath being still here. Before opening the eyes, allow the light to come back in. Reaching the hands above the head, big breath in. And exhale, come to bend the elbows and lift the chest, lift the focus. Inhale, reaching the hands back above the head, big breath in. Focus forward. And on your exhale breath, bend the elbows, lift the chest, lift the focus. Inhale, lift the arms back above the head. Exhale, bend the elbows. This time, reaching the hands above the head, think about the palms facing each other. Taking the right hand down to the ground, stretching through the left hand. Maybe bending in the elbow if you want to bend in the elbow. And switching sides. Back over to the right hand side. And over to the left. And back to the center. If you have your legs crossed over, coming to bring yourself onto the knees. If it's uncomfortable being on the knees, remember you can take a pillow underneath for support, and we're going to tuck our toes underneath. Now, it can be really nice just to stretch out our feet. We really neglect this point. We use them all of the time and we hardly ever give them a nice kind stretch. Just stay here for a few moments, as long as it's comfortable for you. If it's uncomfortable from the get-go, then just take this with ease. Maybe avoid it completely. It can be hard to get the flexibility in the toes to bend under as well. That can take a little bit of time. Be patient. Then we're going to walk the hands forward and we're going to spread the fingertips nice and wide. Not worrying too much about having our shoulders in line with the wrist. We're just going to rock forward and back into the hips. So reaching back towards the heels and reaching forward. Engage the core. Reaching back to the heels and reaching forward. Reaching back to the heels and reaching forward. This time coming all the way back, walk the hands and start to turn the feet out. So bring ourselves to a squat position at the back of our mat. Now the heels might not start to reach towards the ground to begin with. Maybe they don't reach down at all. Not worrying too much about this. We're only going to stay here for a few moments and we're just going to allow ourselves to rock side to side. Lift, crawl. That's what I'm thinking about doing next. Lift tall through the crown of the head. Push the hands together. Think about the knees guiding out to the side. And then we're going to start to walk our hands forward and drop our head. A few breaths here. Reaching away from our hips. Allowing our torso to fold slightly. Then start to push away the ground with the heels. Unfold the spine. Still keeping the feet turned out, taking the hands to the heart center. Take a few moments here. And I'm going to start to pivot the feet. So we've still got that nice wide stance, but our feet are now facing towards the top of our mat in a parallel position. We're going to bring the hands to the hips. Shifting the hips towards the right hand side. Rolling all the way back. Reaching to the left hand side. And reaching towards the front. Then coming over towards the left hand side. Think about making a nice big circle. Reach the hips back, the body forward, hips to the right, hips facing the front. Now coming to reverse, so keep imagining that circle in your head, how when you shift the hips back, the torso comes forward. Just keeping that action of taking the circles one way and the other way. And we're going to take one more before we come back on top of the legs. So start to bring the feet back underneath the hips. So let's reach our hands nice and high. Big breath in. Big breath out. Let's soften the knees. Reach the hands forward, taking the seat back. Checking we can still see the toes. Reach through the heels, engage the glutes, engage the core. And push away the ground, reaching the arms back up. Bring the hands back down by the sides. Now let's work through a few sun salutations. So we're going to bring the arms all the way out to the side on a big inhale, sweeping the hands up to the sky. Exhale, start to fold over the legs, optional to bend the knees. Pressing hands to the shins, lifting up halfway, nice long spine. And then on your exhale, you're either going to walk the hands forward to a high plank, or you're going to take the knees to the floor. So I will do knees to floor to show you guys. We're going to take the focus forward. Our elbows are coming in towards the side, and we're going to lower all the way down. Let's engage our legs, engage the glutes. Pushing through the hands, lifting up halfway. Optional to go to full expression of up dog if you like, although avoid if your spine does not feel warm. Tucking our toes underneath, let's press towards the heels. Child's pose or downward facing dog, 5 counts of breath. Now remember, the heels do not have to connect to the floor. If you feel tension in the hamstrings or the lower back, then I would definitely recommend coming to take that soft bend in the knees and reach the pelvis towards the sky. Few counts of breath here. Pedal the heels if you like. Spread the fingertips wide. Focus through the heels. Lovely. Now we're going to start to walk our hands back towards our feet. So we're doing things slightly different to our traditional sun salutation A. Start to unfold the spine, carry the arms above the head. Big breath in, big breath out, bringing the hands back into the heart center. We're going to do that through 2 more times. So think about these parts where you can slow down, maybe things you just go straight to. So bending the knees, inhale, lift the hands. Exhale, come to fold. Inhale, coming to lift up halfway, resting hands to shin or thighs. Bending the knees, walking forward, high plank or knees to floor. Elbows in, focus forward, lowering down. Inhale, coming to lift up, full expression, up dog, or taking half variation. Engage the glutes, engage the legs, lowering down. Big inhale. Exhale, pushing back towards the heels. Child's pose or downward facing dog, 5 counts of breath. If you're in your child's pose and you want to take wider knees either side of the mat to find a bit more space, then feel free to do this. It can be quite nice and relieving. Calm, steady breaths, no matter what variation you've chosen. Check in that the body is feeling like it's linking to the breath. Last few moments here. We're slowly coming to walk the hands towards the feet if you are in child's pose, or if you're in downward facing dog, we're coming towards the back of the mat. Heels to the floor, drop the head, unfold the spine. Bring the hands above the head, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding yourself strong. Choosing to either stay here if you don't want to go through one more round, or let's take our final round together. Inhale, come and sweep the arms above the head. Focus to the sky. Exhale, pour the weight over the legs, dropping the head in. Inhale, lifting up halfway, nice long spine. Focus to the top of the mat. Start to walk the hands. High plank or knees to floor. Focus forward, elbows in, lowering down. Pushing away the ground, lifting up halfway or full expression, up dog. Exhale, tucking toes under, reaching towards the heels or downward facing dog. 5 counts of breath. Use these points of space to allow yourself to calm the breath. If you're still keeping your ujjayi breath, notice if this is nice and calm and steady. On your next inhale, coming towards the back of the mat, heels to the floor. Slowly unfold. Back to standing. Inhale, hands above to the sky. Exhale, hands to center. So let's get ourselves to the top of the mat now. Bring ourselves nice and tall. And we're going to start to step back with our left leg. In our high crescent lunge. Feeling strong again. Think about those foundations reaching up from the ground up. We're pushing away the floor with that front leg. Knee in line with ankle. Reaching the hands up. We're going to take a big breath in. And on a big breath out, we're going to start to pivot our back heel around. So our toes are now facing the long part of our mat. We're reaching the hands up. Big breath in. Big breath out. Press the arms in line with the shoulders. Focus reaching forward over that middle finger. And if we want to take a wider stance, if we feel like we can still be strong, then we can take our wider stance. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. So we're going to take a reach forward away from the hips and take our elbow to knee. Lengthen through that left hand. Big breath in. Big breath out. Lifting up out of the shoulder of the right arm. So we want to be strong, reaching out of that shoulder. Our focus, our intention can be up towards top hand or down towards front foot. Let's take a few counts of breath here. And on your next inhale, let's push away the ground. And let's send the weight back. So we've gone from here, big breath in. And on our exhale, we're going to reverse. So take your left hand down towards the left leg. Still keep a bend in that front knee, reaching focus up towards top hand. We're just going to take this through a few times. So big breath in. Big breath out. Taking right elbow to right knee, lengthen through left hand. Big breath in. And on your big breath out, we're taking ourselves all the way back again. One more time, big breath in. Exhale, elbow to knee. Lengthen through left hand. Big breath in. Big breath out. Coming to take left hand to left leg, reaching right hand to the sky. Lovely. Pressing the hands down. Pivot the right heel. and taking yourself to face the back of the mat. From here, making sure both our hips are facing forward, reaching our hands high, shoulders away from ears, nice long line, big breath in, big breath out, big breath in, big breath out. Start to pivot, open that back heel, press the hands. Nice long line, tension in the arms. Focus through that middle finger. Check again. If you want to adjust that back leg, you can. Think about your front heel in line with that back arch. Few moments, big breath in. Big breath out, taking front arm to knee. Right hand coming over the head. Big breath in. Big breath out. Now we're going to do the same as what we did on the other side. We're going to reverse. So big breath in, big breath out. Right hand coming to back leg. Left hand reaching up towards the sky. We're still keeping the legs the same. We're just changing the arms and the position of the torso. Big breath in, big breath out, taking left elbow to left knee. Right hand sweeping over the head. Focus towards top hand or down towards front foot. Long line from top hand down towards back leg. Let's reverse. Big breath in. Big breath out, reaching back. Big breath in. Big breath out, coming to take elbow to knee. Stretching through and long through that right hand side. On our next inhale, think about pushing away the ground with that left leg, back in line with the shoulders. And we're going to come pivot left leg in, pivot our legs back to the front of the mat. And we're going to step our feet together. Hands to the heart center. Tall through the legs, engage in the knees. Big breath in, big breath out, big breath in, big breath out. Now on your next exhale, we're stepping back with our left leg. And our toes again are facing as if we're doing our warrior two. Our toes are reaching towards the longest part of our mat. And our hips, really doesn't matter like how far you take them to begin with. It's just where you kind of feel comfortable. You'll get a sense when you take this pose. Now what is a great thing to have is a block to the inside of your front leg or a book if you don't want to go as far down. So that's something to think about if you need to pause and get that. But let's take a big hand above the head. Inhale. Now on our exhale, we're shifting our hips back towards the back of the room. And we're thinking about reaching our arms down in line with shoulders. Our front arm is reaching away from the hips, and then we're taking the torso over into that side fold. Now you can rest this right hand high up like this, down onto the shin, or even down towards the floor or the inside of that front foot. So it's entirely up to you, but we're thinking about lengthening through the top of the head. Maybe we have a bend in this front knee, hips shifting still towards the back of the room, taking a few counts of breath here. Imagining that you're in between two panes of glass and this top hand is in line with the torso. Our focus, top hand, or down towards front foot. Where does your neck feel the most comfortable? Remember to breathe, breathe, breathe. And then start to bend into that front leg if you haven't already got a bend. Bring yourself back into our warrior two. And then we're going to start to pivot that back heel to the top of our mat. Now, this is more in a V kind of direction. Our back leg's more in a V kind of direction angle. But we've still got our hips facing facing forward. Some people prefer to just have it completely, both feet facing in a parallel position. Figure out what option works best for you. We're going to take the hands either to the hips, or we're going to think about taking hold of the elbows behind our backs. And we're going to take a big inhale, lift the chest, and on our exhale we're going to fold over. Remember, micro bend in the knee if you want that micro bend. And we don't have to go really far over the leg. Want to still kind of think about that nice long spine. Grounding through your back foot, so that's keeping you secure and strong. And on our next inhale, we're going to push away the ground, start to pivot the feet to face the back of the room. So from here again, let's turn out that back leg. Let's think about that strong line reaching down through our feet. We've got our hands out in line with our shoulders. We're reaching our hips towards the back of the room. Reaching forward, away with our left hand. We're maybe taking a bend in our knee, maybe we're not. And then we start to lean over that front leg, opening out that top hand. Keeping the weight running through the two sides. Big breath in, big breath out. Always remember your options. You can take a soft bend in the knee. You can take the focus to the toes of the front foot or up towards the top hand, wherever works the best for you. Engage the core. Reach through the crown of the head. On your next inhale, start to bend into the front knee. Bring yourself back on top of the legs, warrior two. And then let's start to pivot that back heel slightly at an angle or facing completely towards that front foot. And our stance can be wide, our stance can be small. Again, that goes with whatever your preference might be. We're thinking about the arms coming behind us or the hands to the hips. Big breath in, lift the chest. Big breath out, coming to fold, nice long line. Engage the belly, engage the core, protect the back. Think about grounding through our back foot as much as we ground through our front leg. Notice the difference between the sides. Maybe one is much, much easier than the other. And on your next inhale, let's push away the ground, bring ourselves back on top of our legs and start to pivot our feet back towards the front of the mat, stepping our feet together. So we're going to work more with folding again over the hips, but this time we're thinking about variations of a chair pose that we can do. So let's bring our feet together first to begin with. And we take a big breath in and a big breath out. Shift the hips back. Take the hands to the heart. Few moments here. Maybe coming to fold over the legs where you are in this position. Dropping the head down can feel quite nice. Then bringing yourself back up to standing. So we have that variation that we can go through. Otherwise, we can try another variation, which is reaching off our right leg, coming to turn out the hip, placing the foot onto the other leg, to our left leg. This is a little bit of balance. Flexing the toes of the right foot. Shift the hips back. Reach the torso forward. Find your drishti, your focus just ahead, where you're going to keep your breath steady. Keep your focus in that one place, no matter what happens. A few moments. And your next inhale, coming to reach back up and switch sides. So reaching through our right leg, lengthen away our left foot, turning out, placing above the knee if we can, and then coming to shift the hips back, engage our left foot, flex the toes, Shift the hips back. If you have a wobbly like me, don't worry, press the fingers together. Nice calm, steady breath in, calm, steady breath out. And coming to release back up nice and strong in the legs. Lengthen the hands down by the sides, lifting tall through the crown of the head. And we're going to start to slowly bend the knees, bringing ourselves down to a crouched position. Walking the hands back. Pressing the feet to the floor. So we're going to take our hands slightly further away and our fingertips are reaching towards the front of the room. We're thinking about our shoulder blades coming together here. Going to make a nice tabletop position. So maybe you might want to take your feet closer to the hips. Make any adjustments you need to. We're going to take a big breath in and a big breath out. Lift the hips up high. Focus forward. Engage the glutes. Hold. Few more moments. Strong, strong, strong through the arms. And then lowering back down. From here, walking the heels away, taking the hands by the hips and we're lifting, pushing away the ground. If you find your hands don't make it to the ground like this when you're by your sides, then take your hands up onto something higher like a block. Again, shoulder blades back together, chest lifting, core engaged. Might seem a really simple pose, but it's actually quite strong. And then on our next inhale, pressing the feet away, reaching the hands forward. Taking hold of our big toes if we can. Taking the chin to our chest, we're going to allow ourselves to roll onto the back. Bring our knees either side of the body up towards the armpits. Rounding the back, the chin coming towards the chest. Then lowering the head back to the ground. A few moments here. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Then coming to take the soles of the feet together if that's comfortable to do so. If not, extend the legs away. Stretch the arms above the head. Allow the gravity to push the knees to the side. And then we're going to shuffle ourselves a little bit further down our mats. If like me, you might find yourself more towards the back of the mat. Make sure you have a clear space behind you if you're choosing to swing the legs over the head. So, first option, if you do not want to swing the legs over the head, you can just work with doing lifting up the hips. So that would be pressing the whole spine to the floor, scooping the pelvis underneath, and slowly reaching the hips up towards the sky. Engage the glutes and lowering back down. So you can work with those while we go through the other pose. Otherwise, you can take the feet to the sky and have the hands by the sides, or we can come to take our feet up and over the head. Now with taking your feet up and over the head, it can feel a little bit weird. Trying to get the motion going can really be people's hardest thing to do. So you're really thinking about swinging the legs. So I like to think about my knees coming towards my chest and then my feet coming to extend over. So that kind of gives me a little bit more to work with. So my hands are pushing away the ground. We're just rocking forward and back. And then my feet are coming over the head. Now they might not touch the ground. That's completely fine. Or maybe they might. We're going to support the lower spine. few moments here. And slowly coming to roll back through the back. Bring the hands back to the mat. And extend the legs away. So always being patient with taking our legs up and over the head. It can be a little bit harder to breathe when everything is more constricted like that. So maybe don't take the legs so far over the head to begin with. Just while you get used to it. So bringing your hands out to the side. Bringing your right knee to the chest. Taking left hand to right knee. Big inhale. Big exhale, bringing that right knee across that right hand side. Think about both of the shoulder blades still staying to the floor. Maybe your intention, your focus coming to the right hand, thinking more about a twist in the body than anything else. Entirely up to you. And then coming to take the leg back to the center, thinking about left knee drawing up, taking right hand to left knee, big breath in, big breath out, taking that right knee across, that left knee across to the right hand side, maybe taking the focus to the left hand. A few moments here. And coming back to your center. So if you have any extra layers that you'd like to put on, or get a drink of water, pause the video, do what you need to do, and then we'll come back to lying on our back or finding your comfortable seat. So I am going to take a seat for today's Shavasana, but that is not what you have to do. And bringing the hands anywhere comfortable, restful on the body or out to the side. We're going to take a big breath in and a big breath out. Big breath in and a big breath out. Allow yourself to come back to this natural rhythm, this natural pace that you found yourself at the very beginning of the class, where you didn't worry about restricting any flow, but you just allowed yourself to be. You maybe gave yourself an intention behind today's practice. Maybe now is a nice time to remind yourself of this. And our shoulders are resting away from the ears. There's no tension in the physical body. We're allowing ourselves to be heavy to the ground, to surrender to the ground. We did all of the work in the physical practice to allow ourselves to earn this time that we deserve to be still, to focus in on what's maybe going on with our mind. To witness not only the breath but our thoughts. Not holding any judgment or expectation of how anything needs to be, what you need to be thinking. But just continuing the idea of flow. Allowing yourself to be. Remembering what we spoke about at the very beginning of class about how when we slowly build skill, then we find balance. And that's all we're doing now. We're just slowly building repetition and practice, and things become hopefully easier, we're more comfortable, and we find that balance. Let's give ourselves our last few moments here for if we're lying on our back, we're going to roll to our right hand side, push up through the hand and take ourselves to a seated position. And if we're already seated, we're taking our hands to the heart center, slowly opening our eyes, reaching our hands to the forehead, back down to the heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for your time, for choosing to practice with me. If you're new and if you have been here a few times, then choosing to continue. I hope that was a practice that made you feel lighter. I hope that you found moments of being present, and yeah, thank you so much. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to ask me. If you want to keep in touch, you can keep in touch through the link down below, and have a lovely day. Thank you so much.